It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. A little bit earlier, we chatted to a South African under-15 baseball coach, Warren Manchin. Now, we are going to learn a little bit more about the sport. So if this is something that sparked a bit of interest, we're going to take you through the 5 basics in baseball. They are throwing, they are catching, hitting, fielding, and then, of course, base running. And there are dozens of additional fundamentals that kind of feed off that within baseball, but all players need to be proficient in these 5 fundamentals to be successful at any position, or at least this is how I understand it. So the SA under-15 side are still with us in studio this morning. They're going to demonstrate some of these key components of the game for us. So take us through it, gents. Welcome to the show, first of all. Congrats on making it to the World Cup. We are behind you 100%. But let's welcome a new generation to the sport and show them some of the basics. Take it away.
Okay, so primarily baseball is played, there's 9 players on the field, obviously, and it's, you get 3 outs, and you go to field, and the opposition will come and bat. And that's basically the way the game works. It works in frames, top of a frame, bottom of a frame, and then you go to another frame. Ultimately, you want to get through 7 frames or 9 frames, depending on the time. The key players, basically, in a baseball game, to start it off, is your pitcher and your catcher. That is basically known as the battery, commonly known as the battery.
The battery.
And the battery needs to work all the time for us to be really cohesive and effective. The pitcher, obviously, he delivers what the catcher requires, and the catcher, being the only player that sits and sees the whole game in front of him, actually makes the call behind the plate as to what the delivery...
He's the eyes, okay.
He is the eyes, correct, Graham.
And hence the secret signals.
Correct, hence the secret signals. The fingers will be fluttering inside, outside, high, low, etc. And that's a common code that the pitching and catchers will work at before they go, basically.
Okay,
right.
Show us how it's done.
So here we have Rian. Rian is one of our pitchers, basically. And this is just to demonstrate the fastball, which is the 4-seam fastball, basically. Obviously, more seam on the ball, so the velocity generates more velocity, basically.
Pace,
yeah,
okay.
and it keeps the line longer. And then when we go over to a 2-seam fastball, which is the fingers going
along the line
of the seams, basically, you get to move the ball slightly. You either move it away, you could move it in, dependent on the angle, basically.
On how you release. Okay.
Correct. So basically, with the pitcher, what you want is, in terms of the kinetic chain, basically, you need the pitcher to plug into the ground, basically. So all the forces needs to be working. And if you could make it simpler, it's almost like a 2-prong plug. If you don't plug it in properly, you don't get the power.
Okay.
And exactly with the pitcher. So he will go through the motion, basically. So he will go into the drive position, basically. So you can go here.
Wind up.
Correct.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. So you need to get all those fundamentals, basically, within the body, basically, working together. You lift and drive, basically. So when you drive, he's bringing his front, his lead side. He brings that hip up. By turning that foot, he will bring out the hip. And that hip will coming down the mount, basically. That generates the momentum towards the catcher, basically. Increases velocity.
Okay,
on
so
the throw.
more power, better. You want to get the whole body involved.
Obviously, we've done a lot of programs in terms of just throwing, because arm strength is important. So these guys have been on a throwing program, which has been designed by one of the top scouts across the world, basically. We've been using the program for that.
And maybe as a last demonstration here, what is the key to throwing? Because at my age, 40, you get one good throw. That's it. And that's done. I'm out of the game.
The key to good throwing is obviously your body needs to be conditioned, first of all, Greg.
Okay.
That's the most important thing, and these guys have been conditioned. So basically, when you are going through the action, basically, it's getting the arm up. Just go through the motion again. Down and out, down and out, down and out, as you're going to go to the... Yeah, as you would... So slow it down, just slow it down. Everything as fast as...
Yeah, please, slow it down.
Lovely. It's a takeaway. It's a takeaway down, okay? And at a certain point, and we teach the guys to keep their hand not too far. Obviously, lessons learned over the years. A lot of guys would go down and they would go behind their body, basically. And that would put a lot of pressure on the rotator
shoulder
cuff
joint,
on the shoulder
yeah.
joint. So now it's slightly in front of the shoulder joint, basically. Those are the finer details, basically, the more technical, medical, if I can put it that way,
Yeah,
that we now
very
starting
nuanced.
to,
Yeah.
that we're starting to tap into and use more effectively.
I
So,
love it, man.
yeah.
Well, as we get one last little demonstration here, I'm going to reiterate, boys, that we are behind you 100%. You have clearly put in the training, you've put in the hard yards, so go out there and just do your best. Let the minds be strong and know that we are all behind you 100%. But we've got a lot of excitement building ahead of this competition. So most importantly, just enjoy it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something truly remarkable. So you can show them some love and really acknowledge the fact that they've had to work so hard. Their parents have had to work so hard for fundraising to get them here. So show them the support that they deserve as they go and represent South Africa on the biggest stage of all.